This daily market update has been brought to you by Daily Wealth Report. Trading involves risk of loss and may not be suitable for you. Past performance is no guarantee or reliable indication of future results. All advice and education content is of the nature of general information only and must not in any way be construed or relied upon as legal, financial, or personal advice.
Good morning, traders and investors. It is Thursday the 21st of June. We've seen some mixed activity between the US and Europe following the announcement from the US Federal Reserve of a little bit more stimulus, an expansion of the TWIST program, but that's only just really met market expectations and hasn't really exceeded where they really would like to see participation from the Fed Reserve. We start off with the FTSE. It was actually up 35 points, or 0.6%. We can see that's a continuation of the short-term trend, and it remains above the 50-period moving average. But of course, all this activity in Europe was before the US Fed Reserve announcement. The German DAX was up 28 points, or 0.4%, following a very similar price movement. And the CAC 40, the French CAC 40, was up 8 points, or 0.28%. Really only finding some buyer activity in the later session of the day. It's poked its head up from recent short-term highs, but isn't showing strong buyer activity just at this point in time. Flip over to the US, where all the focus was at overnight. The Dow was down nearly 13 points, or 0.1%, so barely unchanged really, closing at 12,824. We can see that it's in this sideways movement here. This right-hand candle is the futures trading ahead of tonight's open. So it looks like we've got slowing buyer momentum, potentially topping out just on top of this 50-period moving average. The S&P 500 index had lost 2.2 points, or 0.17%. It too was barely unchanged, showing very similar movement, and closing at 1,355. The Nasdaq index, representing technology companies listed on the Nasdaq exchange, was up 0.69 points. That's really only 0.02%, so it's barely unchanged, and it too is just reacting to what had occurred at the end of the trading session. We look at the VIX index, and it actually had fallen quite heavily. It was down $1.14, or 6%. Closing at 17.24. It's trading at levels which would denote a bullish market, which when we look at the likes of the S&P 500, yes, we are in an upwards trend, but are we truly in a bull market? That is the million-dollar question. A little closer to home, we have a look at the ASX 200. We're able to gain 6 points on Wednesday, closing at 4129. We can see that there's a large shadow on top of that candle there. That denotes weakness from the buyers not being able to hold on to the intraday gains, and just hesitation as we trade around the previous short-term resistance of 4125. The SPY futures are pointing towards a slightly higher gain for the start of the day, up 14 points. They are off slightly from their earlier highs, and so we're still seeing some hesitation in pushing forward into higher ground. So that will have an influence on the ASX 200, whether there's enough momentum to push this up through the highs of yesterday and maintain an upwards moving market will soon be seen. But the markets at the moment are still absorbing the information coming out of the US. Well, that's our summary for Thursday the 21st of June. I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on what's happened overnight, and I look forward to giving you an update again tomorrow. Wish you all happy trading.